we know that preseason basketball is a lot different than regular season basketball. The rotations are different. You're going a lot deeper into your bench, and teams aren't necessarily playing their starters after a period of time. And therefore, like, yeah, you had to weather the storm, but it was under a complete different circumstance. Now you're playing a full regular season NBA game with regular season minutes and rotations. So I'm interested to see who steps up in that and how they deal with that absence. So that's a big thing. There's a big scoring load that is now missing for the Chicago Bulls team because Coby White not being there. Kobe's 20 points per game were major to this team, and even more that he scored down the stretch of this game. And we just don't have another scorer like Coby White on this team. Of course, we have Io that can score. Io was a scorer, especially I think he averaged 20 points per game his last year in college. You got Kevin Huerter, who is a shooter who can stretch the floor, of course, right? But that's really it. Even with Trey Jones scoring, like he's more of a point guard that can score than a scoring point guard. So that's you have there. Then you also have the Jalen Smith thing, which we'll talk about here in a second, but specifically the absence of Coby White. Do they do it as a team? Does Modest Buzelis step just into that role? That's one of the questions, of course, on who's that starting five. Is it going to be Io? Is it going to be Okoro? Is it going to be Huerter? It's going to be a combination of two of those three players, unless Billy Donovan does do something outside the box and start a Patrick Williams or Dalen Terry, which I doubt, but, those are still options that are on the board too. Next up, Josh Giddey running the entire show. To end the season last year, Josh Giddey and Coby White had about the same percentage of the Chicago Bulls' overall offense. It was a little over 30% for both of them, right? I think they accounted for almost 68% of the Bulls' offense with the points that they scored and the points they generated off assists. So now, with Coby White not being in there, right, a lot of things on offense are going to go through Josh Giddey, especially in that starting lineup. You don't have another ball-dominant player like a Coby White out there. And Coby and Josh Giddey really figured out their chemistry towards the end of that season. That was one of the biggest questions coming into the season is how does that balance now pick up from where it left off? Now, because of Coby missing the first 6 games, that conversation shifts to how do they balance, it out to, hey, how much now is Josh Giddey going to do, right? Is he going to have to do more shooting, or do we have enough offense from, Modest and Ayo Dosunmu and Kevin Huerter when he's in the game and other guys stepping up offensively to where Josh Giddey can kind of focus more of being a facilitator rather than a scorer, right? Now, we've seen it before. Josh Giddey gets into rhythm scoring and get into that getting downhill and attacking smaller guards and those type of things. He gets in a really good rhythm, right? Even his shooting can get in a really good rhythm when he does those type of things. So, not to say that it's necessarily not going to be the best for the Bulls if he does, but I'm just interested to see that balance of it. And Giddey's going to have the ball a lot in his hands. And, we'll see what he does with that. And, some of that could go to Modest, which, that brings us to the next topic.